come. Oh, come on. Hi, Beth. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Haley. Hi, Heather. Hi, Erica. Oh, Francois on here. Hi. I haven't seen you in so long. Hi, Emily. Hi, Heather. Heather, did you get my email today? If you emailed me back, I haven't looked yet. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Helen. You guys, this is going to be an exciting one today. Hi, Jarrett. Ooh, Jarrett's in here snooping away. Hi, Callie. Kelly. Hi, Kenya. Kirsten's in here too, Kenya. Oh, these are all our regulars. They all want to meet Vince today. Yes, they do. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Megan. Megan Hand, you just heard me talk. Aren't you sick of me yet? Melissa, one of our lead educators in here too, snooping. I love all the snoops.
Melissa just wanted to see me because she
Oh,
won't see me till tomorrow.
the Queen Snoop is in here. Sarah Sharp coming in from the office. Oh, here's another snooper, Shirley. Hi, Stephanie. Oh, Tatiana's in the house too. Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Vanessa. This is exciting. There's lots of people in here. Hi, Marianne Pepper. Guess what? I'm in California today. The weather's the same. How did that happen? It's not warm here. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Crystal. Well, there's a lot of people. They want to see who the man is.
I mean, for real.
Yeah, for real. We talk about you so much, Vince. They're probably like, they gotta know. Cool. Okay. Well, it is about 9:05, so we are going to start. As you guys know, this is for me, this is one of the most exciting webinars of the year because Chris and I get to talk to Vince a lot, but other people don't. So you guys have to know how cool he is. I was obsessed with him the first time I met him. We met at his place down in Southern California, which is beautiful. My gosh, it's right on the ocean. We got there and Vince spoiled us, unbelievably so. And we had our first meeting and we walked out and I'm like, I don't care what that is. I love that guy. I love that guy. And Chris is like, I like him too. So we went through the vetting process of Vince in like 30 seconds that we just loved him and he knew what he was doing and he was super cool and he doesn't create for a lot of lines at the same time, so we happen to Chris met another friend that works with Vince and we just happened to slide in under the radar and snag Vince for ourselves. So super excited. I could go on and on about all the cool things. You'll see later we're going to talk about all the things Vince does, and I tell you what, there's a book that we're going to talk about. And Chris and I were in the hotel room and I kept having to tell her to shut up because all I wanted to do was read that book to find out more about Vince. And I like read it in one afternoon and then finally we could talk about it. But I'm like, stop talking to me. This is too good. So I hope that you guys really enjoy this today. Plus he's made amazing product for us. There's more on the horizon. Super exciting. So Chris, you talk about your experience and then we will have our guest speak of himself because he is going to tell you all the cool things about him better than I ever could.
Well, hey everybody, it's Chris Campbell here, owner of Hale Hush. You guys know me. I met Vince a few years ago. I met him through a mutual friend of someone I used to work with and started talking to him how I wanted some new products, update some old products, do some things, and that's what we're doing. Shauna's going to talk about, the 5 products we've already launched, some that are really close on the horizon. I've just approved another 3 that are super secret in testing. We do some stability testing and things before I can even tell you they're secretly on the way. And I have a whole bunch of samples that I'm working on that Vince is working with me on too. So there's lots of new stuff coming out for the next couple years. I just spent a weekend with Vince. He had a charity event at his house. I went out there and helped him with it. and supported him, and I learned even more. We have very much the same personalities in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy working with him. He is a wealth of knowledge. He lets me have input while I'm not in the lab doing it. He lets me have input what I want, what I don't want, ideas, and we brainstorm. And that's what I really like, that creative process, to have that with a chemist, because a lot of people don't have that kind of creative process that aren't in the actual lab with them. But I'm going to turn this over to Vince because he always has a lot to say. But I go ahead, Vince. Vince Spinnato.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Thank you for having me first, Shauna and Chris, my lovely Chris. Yes, I'll give you a quick background about myself. I am a cosmetic chemist and a perfumer now for 30 years. I opened my company in 1995 in Capistrano Beach, California, just about an hour south of Los Angeles. And really, we develop all products: hair care, skin care, bath and body, manicure, pedicure, baby, pet, and even energy drinks. And I do a lot, and also in the fine fragrance world too, as far as for the perfume work. So we have a couple divisions, one being, again, all of our personal care, skincare division, and then I have a division for fine fragrances, and then we call it a Legendary Hollywood Collection division, which I do a lot of work with the legends of Hollywood. Just right now alone, working with Judy Garland's family, and for a fragrance we did for her, and then the great Joan Crawford coming up for 2027, and I'm doing a perfume for the genius Ella Fitzgerald, which I'm very excited about, coming up next year. So we have a kind of a Hollywood collection, and then also we're doing a product for Toto, for dogs, for pets. So we kind of go in all different directions. And like Shauna and Chris mentioned, we're very, very high profile as far as who we take on, but very boutique in the size. So I mean that we only take 4 to 6 clients every 18 months. And like Shauna was mentioning in the beginning, I got to work with Chris starting about 3 years ago, and now we have her as a full-time client, and vice versa for me as well too. So we don't ever do any conflicting brands or anything in the same category with that same client at the same time. Because one of the things that I think I'm very good at is bringing new delivery systems, new technologies, new raw materials in general to the table, and we don't want any of our customers to have to share the same technology. So if we do something for Hale and Hush, we want them to be the star, be the winner, and be winning the awards, and not one of our other clients or vice versa. So we keep it very, very clean as far as who we're working with and why. Like I said, it's been 30 years now, so we don't take anything on like a Me Too product. Like, hey, I want to make a body wash. It's like, that's boring for us. We really want to work with OTC drugs, new delivery systems, new technology, things that have not been done before. And Chris really, really pushes me, and I push her as well too. So you're working with a company, that is extremely, extremely efficacious as far as what you're getting to bring to your client and into your aesthetic room. And that's why I love working with her as well too, that she allowed me also to create a freedom to show her new technologies, and we do a lot of pushing back of each other in a very, very healthy way for what she wants and what she requires. And again, the reason why I'm mentioning the efficacy and the honesty is because it's not really out there a lot in our industry, and most of you ladies and gentlemen probably know that. And I can give you 15 brands that are not on it just right off the top of my head. So that's really, really important, that what you're getting is what you're getting, what me and Chris decide to put into the product, and what Shauna tests and improved, that you're actually getting at the end result. And not only that, that's going to be very efficacious, and it's going to do what it says it's going to do, especially in the world that you guys live in sensitive skincare. It has to perform. It has to be able to not hurt, treat, correct. You got to make sure you get everything done properly. So with that, everything we do is completely custom. So there's no stock library that we pick from. So anything that Chris creates is from her head and from her mind and mine, and we start from scratch. And the Hale and Hush team gets to all own their IP, which is really important. So you can always say you want to change something, you want to manipulate something, you have the creative freedom to be able to do that. You're not held hostage by not having the ownership of your IP, which is really, really important. And again, that's an important statement as well too, because a lot of companies, I would say like 90% of them, do not have that transparency with their formulations. Which is why, again, I love working so much with Chris, because she sees every trade name, every supplier, every price, every cost, that we're able to very, very methodically and surgically go into these formulations and make it exactly the way that she knows you guys need it for your rooms and for your patients and your clients. But that's at a high level. You know, some of my claim to fame are Jennifer Lopez's second fragrance called Still, which I did in the late 90s. Then I did a fragrance for Michael Jordan. But I've launched over 300 brands in the last 30 years. Probably 99% of you know the names of all of them. Everything from Louis Vuitton and Chanel and Lancome's, you know, through the P&G, the J&J, the Unilever, the Givaudan's, a lot of boutique, you know, brands as well too, like that are out in the market now. So we really kind of dabble in all areas, and that's what's great for me too. And also, it's a little bit unusual about me. Normally, in our world of science and chemistry, we have personal care chemists that do, again, hair care, skin care, body care, that kind of thing, and then color chemists that are doing color makeup and, you know, lipsticks, you know, mascara, etc., and then perfumers. I happen to be the one of 40 on the planet right now that which I found out from Louis Vuitton and Hennessy that I was vetted by them for a project I did for them. I'm only the one of 40 people left that actually are all three. So I'm a personal care chemist, a cosmetic chemist, and a perfumer. And that's very, very unique as well too. And the reason why it's also unique for you guys is I know you're not living in the perfume space, but what I'm able to do with Chris is that when you have products that smell nice, I'm able to make for you guys from scratch an essential oil blend or an all natural, you know, product or an all natural extract, or we can also call them hydrosol. So very, very, very clean, green, sustainable scents that you have in your products on Hale & Hush that my perfume experience, even though we're not calling them perfumes that are not perfumes, they're extracts, hydrosols, and their blend that we blend together with the base to have a beautiful smelling product that you guys can still use, but it's not, of course it's fragrance free and that kind of thing. So all these things come into play. And the color chemistry part, again, you happen to have this elderberry, you know, violet mask I did for you guys. You guys call it berry boost, that I did for you guys. And that's color chemistry there because it has got that beautiful violet color to it, but it's natural, you know, plant-based, you know, ingredients. So all that comes into play when you're doing these kind of different product lines. But that's at a high level, you know, what I do and for the last 30 years and how me and Chris work together. And I'm so happy to meet like all of you via this because I'm so honored to work with her, and she has me at their chemist and vice versa. And again, mainly it's because she's honest, and I keep saying that because it's not usual for our industry. So you're working with a product line with an owner that takes this very, 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 very serious, and she kicks the shit out of me. And she's nice, but she's not, as you guys know. So let's not say she's like really always easy on me because she's not. But that's what keeps the products coming out so well because she pushes me and vice versa. And I'm also not afraid of her say, Chris, that's not a good idea. And a lot of times she'll back off, but most of the time she won't. So there we go. That's at a high level where we're at.
Oh my gosh, that's funny, Vince. I like that. Okay, I have a short little slide deck, and then I've gathered questions that people always ask us that I'm going to ask Vince, hopefully for you. And then you guys at the end can ask Vince questions if you would like. If you have questions for Vince, please put them in the question and answer box, not the chat, so I can keep track, okay? Because there's a lot of you guys in the chat right now, and I can't do both things. So if it's a real question, please put it in the question and answer box, and we'll get it. Let me share my screen. Those of you, there are new people in here. There's a couple new ones. They popped up on the chat. So I'm gonna let you guys know what Vince has created for us. Guadalupe, please put that in the question and answer. I just saw that. Okay. Let's just review all the cool things. Whoops, that's not helpful. Here you guys go. You guys know I've been talking about Vince forever in our classes and our webinars. I'm just so excited to work with him. And I tell you what, you should be in a meeting with the two of those when they don't agree. It's very interesting.
It is.
Right? Just give me the product. I'll try it. That's all I do. You guys know sensitive skin is our specialty. For those of you who are new, you know that's what our brand is all about. And we take care of health challenged skin and compromised barriers and all the skin conditions that come with that. The first product Vince made for us is our Rare Mandelic Serum that it's one of our top selling serums. It really has come in with a punch. It's so, like he talks about efficacy. This is one of the serums that in 30 days, you can see exactly what it's done for your client. It's amazing. You guys know what it does. It retexturizes the skin, brightens, lightens the whole gamut. It's great for acne, it's good for aging, and it's good for basic health of the skin. I'm not going to go into these on detail because those are for all your other classes go in detail about these. Then we had Fresh Breeze come into play because we needed an alternative to our Miss Me for those who could not use that spray. And so I want you guys to know too, when you are in these classes and you're learning about ingredients and formulations, the one thing that I keep coming back to is a lot of times the formulators say that the least amount of ingredients makes it cleaner and better. That is absolutely not the case. Because if you guys notice an ingredient deck in these new products, Vince has literally packed them with as many healthy, efficient, effective ingredients as possible. So I don't think that that little myth that's going around our industry is true any longer. So I get a lot of questions about Fresh Breeze because if you flip Miss Me over and you flip Fresh Breeze over to look at the decks, Fresh Breeze has 2 times the amount of ingredients and it's packed with antioxidants. So that is not the case. And we get that question a lot, Vince, like, why is there so many ingredients in there? That makes it not clean. Well, I just say that that's not true. It's very dependent on what the ingredients are and how they're formulated. So Fresh Breeze is a packed house. She's a big girl. He created the charcoal clarifying mask that I think is wonderful. It's great on your acneic clients. It's good in your treatment room. You can double mask with it, meaning you can use one mask before the other. You can use the charcoal, and then you can also use the Hush Hydrate or the Berry Boost. It works on most skin types, but really it's for detoxifying and exfoliating a little bit deeper. It has that AHA complex in it. So this may not be able to be used on really compromised barriers, but definitely for acne and oiler and thicker skin with a barrier function that is working appropriately. And this is the girl right here. This one has just gone crazy. This has been the most exciting product of 2024, our Berry Boost mask. And as you guys can see in the chat, people are already making comments like it smells amazing. It does all this. It's a beautiful mask. You can use it on everyone. I'll get to the question, but Vince uses this in a very interesting way. We'll get to that one. Berry Boost is one of my favorite masks, I think, of all time. So after he did all those hard hitters, we're like, what can he possibly do next? Well, let's win some awards first.
Hey, did
right?
you?
Just one.
I'm gonna butt in here. Did you do the oil?
Oh, Remedy Rehab. Yeah, I forgot it.
You forgot it.
The
I have
winner.
to fire you.
The one I like the most.
That also is
Anybody?
Vince's, the Remedy Rehab oil.
Yes, it is. And I just want you guys to know that if you'd like to apply for the Director of Education job, send your resumes directly to Chris Campbell. Okay.
No, I'm just gonna say sorry, everyone. I told her the only way she's leaving is in a body bag, so it's not happening. I say that all the time, but it's not happening.
So we just won these 2 awards. It's on our socials right now. It's in the magazine. Dermoscopes magazine should come out any day if it hasn't already in your mailboxes. So we're just super excited. The hype around these products, for us, client satisfaction is so high with these products. That's what makes us so happy to bring them to you. And that's what Chris and Vince have all these little secret meetings without me because I'm never there. And they've created, you guys will see, just hold tight on what they've done. But let's ask Vince some questions. These are the questions I get asked a lot, like just in classes and talking to people and at trade shows. So Vince, they want to know when you formulate for us specifically, like what are the goals? Like what do you and Chris talk about? Like how she wants things done? Like how does that get facilitated?
Sorry, I unmuted myself there. Yeah, we always start with like kind of what the chassis of the formulation is going to be. So really what the base, and Chris is very, very, very clear on what she's looking for and what she wants. And again, we all know that we're living in the Hale Hush space, of making sure we treat all these skin conditions for sensitive skin. And we're always trying to pay attention to things like rosacea and eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, anything in a more serious sensitive skin direction. So before I even start, a chassis, the formulation and how we're going to actually build it, We look about, making sure, again, clean, lean, sustainable, etc. But I want to even mention something with that, and I'm going to answer the question in more detail, Shauna. I always want to put this out to everybody. When you get pushback from your customers and your clients about all these questions about ingredients, why too little, why too many, whatever it ends up being, or why there's this one is, maybe synthetic versus natural, or whatever it would be, is that if you think about it this way, if anybody on this call, including all of us, has an allergy to whatever it may be, so hay fever, or you're allergic to bees, or you're allergic to mushrooms, or you're allergic to peanuts, you cannot really find an allergy that you have that's synthetic. I mean, if you're allergic to something, you're allergic to something in nature. So nature, when you hear clients saying, "Oh, I want it to be organic, I want it to be 100% natural," okay, but also when you're allergic to something or you have a reaction to something, it's always from something from nature. It's not. So I have brands that I developed, for example, that they want them to be 100% synthetic because you're not allergic to synthetic ingredients. So that's one thing we always look at, is to find a clean, green version that may also be synthesized sometimes, but it's still naturally derived. So you don't always want to have, peanut oil. You don't want to have, I'm just making this up, of course, or you don't want to have, coconut oil maybe, but if you have an allergy to something, it's from something from nature. It's not from silicone. Okay, we don't use silicone in Chris's products or in Hale & Hush, I'm saying, but you that's something that you would not be allergic to because it's synthesized. So that's always where we kind of start, is like how you want to perform, look, smell, feel, and also the treatment. And then we kind of go backwards. And of course, costs are important as well. So we have to make sure it's affordable for you guys and ladies to be able to sell it. So we always want to look at the cost of goods as well too. And we kind of go backwards from that as a starting point.
Awesome. And then a lot of time, like in the industry, Vince, a lot of excuses we hear are like, oh, our products have, some more preserved, they have this and this, because it's really challenging to create clean products. Is that true or false, Vince?
No, it's not. It's true in the sense, it's kind of 50-50. It's true in the sense you can make clean products all the time. But like I said, nature only is going to give you what nature gives you. So if you want to treat like fine lines, wrinkles, and feathering, and tightening and firming, you can do that a certain way, with nature, but also a lot of times you need to synthesize or peptides, or things that are going to be that have more of an efficacious value to it. So I can create clean all day, but if you say you want to go buy a skincare line from Whole Foods, that's the 365 brand, you're not going to get any kind of efficacy in it because it's so green and clean or organic, it doesn't really do much. So again, with Hale & Hush, we're really looking at performance, and also sensitivity. So it's a fine balance to make sure you formulate that way. But everything we're going to make and create for you guys is going to be massively efficacious, and we always find that sweet spot. So it has to perform, and you just can't always do it 100% clean, or what you would think as clean, meaning that roots and berries and dirt, right? It's not always going to it's not going to give you the result that you want. You're going to have to go deeper than that.
Yeah. Okay, so you pretty much answered the next question. So let's go into all the new melon oils. We get questions about that a lot. So what are the benefits? How did you figure it out to start using all the melon oils?
Yeah, melon oil has actually been popular for a while, but Makati melon, which you guys use here, is more of a let's call it the Rolls Royce of melons. It's got so many values to it as far as anti-inflammatory. It's an anti-astringent. It helps with bacteria. So again, good old fashioned watermelon does that as well too. But when we started researching the actual melons itself, again, Makati melon, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, all this melon family has an extremely amount of efficacious attributes to it for sensitive skin, because it does its work where it's an astringent, and also it helps with it's an antibacterial as well too, but it also is an astringent. And again, especially like in the toners, we like to see it in there, and then the remedy oil. But anything that's going to actually you want to treat the skin for more a clean palette, have a nice clean surface to work off when you start putting other treatment products on. Melons are all great for that, and all these melons are one better than the next. But you guys have the Rolls Royce of melons, which is, again, it's for Chris's sake, it's very expensive. So God bless you for letting me use it, but it really it's massively efficacious, and it's about the best you can get.
Awesome. And then moving on to the berry maskments, they ask a lot because there's so many berries, like berry seed oils. Like what was your thought in creating that? And you just packed it. Why'd you use all of those? Because there's so many.
the berry mask is like one of the best products ever made in 30 years, and I'm the first to say. I've had fights with Chris about this because we did have a cost issue for a while on this product because it's very, very expensive. And what I wanted to use, which she finally allowed me to use after I showed her the value of it, we use all the Arctic berries. And what's so cool about these Arctic berries are the lindenberry, the roddenberry, I think sea buckthorn, and we have the cloudberry as well too. These berries that I'm using for you guys for this mask actually are from the Arctic. It only lives, all these berries only come from Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Greenland, Iceland, etc. That's where they live. And what's so cool about them is that, and this, we have all the data to support this, is that they're trapped under the ice for 7 months out of the year. So they only harvest these berries between June and September, which is what makes them so expensive to actually get. But they're only harvested between June and September, and that the antioxidant values are trapped in the ice for 7 months. So really, you're encapsulating the performance of the berries. So they work crazy, crazy well. They're crazy, crazy expensive. They're very, very unique and rare. And that's what kind of we were fighting about for a while. Like, they're so expensive. I'm like, well, just let me put them, let me show you what it does. And it really is become, I mean, one of the best products I've ever done. And I'll tell you guys, like Shauna said, what I do with the product as well too as a man is something I do a little bit different. But it's those berries were kind of a push I was pushing for from the very beginning. Chris finally allowed me to do it. So we did it. Yeah.
Finally, she just let loose of it.
Let loose.
And another on Chris's in Chris's defense, you know, our products always have to stay pretty reasonably priced for the clientele we have. So Chris is always trying to bring you guys products that are that awesome and cool, but also affordable for you and your clients. So realize that's usually what they're arguing about is definitely cost and price. Oh, Chris just like lost it for a minute.
Lost her.
She'll be back.
That's it.
Okay.
She's dead to us. She's dead to us.
Yep, moved on. And you guys, everyone's in different places today. Like Vince is in Chicago, Chris is in New York, I'm in California. Like no one's where they're supposed to be today. It's kind of funny. So she's in a hotel room. So hopefully the Wi-Fi comes back. Anyway, tell us, Vince, out there in the industry, what is the big trending ingredient right now? Like what is the
for some reason, I'm getting a call like weekly for lychee oil. Lychee is a new one that's come up. Also, kumquat as well too. And a lot of these oils start to have like a trend. We had like it kind of happened with acai many years ago, and then pomegranate oil was crazy popular. And then we had even broccoli seed oil, which is another anti. We actually had the. You guys haven't seen it yet, but we're doing an SPF for Hale Hush, and it's got broccoli seed oil as the main attribute in it. As a, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, forget everything I said. You're all.
Mitch, not on here.
Yeah, you guys got to give me more rules. That was for a whole nother customer. I'm sorry. Never mind. But like, broccoli seed oil is really hot as well too, and then maybe you'll see that come up in one of your products one day. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's really hot. But lychee right now is the hottest one. We're getting a lot of requests for lychee, and also the melons. Still the melons as well too. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And I get a lot of questions too about how you formulate, and I think you already answered this. So if you have, it's cool. But how you formulate, do you think of certain skin conditions, like for specifically our clientele when you're making it, like the rosacea, the psoriasis, the medically compromised skin?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everything with Hale Hush, we're always starting with the base that we're treating sensitive skin. So everything I do from the very beginning is always based with that in mind for sure. But again, but having to do the efficacy part, because you're this whole brand right in the treatment room, so it had to be performance driven. And not only that, but the main thing is I always want to try and get you guys the most instant gratification as possible, because nobody wants to wait for anything anymore. I mean, when I started my career 30 years ago, you had things that were like, oh, you see your results in 8 to 12 weeks, and then it became, in the very early 2000s, 4 to 6 weeks, and then in the mid 2000s it was, it was like 1 week, and then it was 4 days, and then now it really is with the whole world of TikTok and social media, and you're dating like this, looking for dates like this, you're looking for videos like this, like everybody wants instant gratification within a second. So we do have materials that we use that you will see and feel the results within 30 to 45 seconds. So now, when you're in a treatment room, that's nothing better than that. When your client leaves feeling, looking, and actually can literally feel the firmness, or they can feel, or they can see the diminishment of fine lines, wrinkles, or they can see a diminishment of age spots, discoloration, and sunspots. That's what we're trying to do for you guys. And I think the products that we're delivering now are doing that. So the instant gratification, because you're treatment room oriented, that's the top thing I'm always thinking about. I want the client to walk out of your room saying, whoa, this is like, I mean, this is like amazing. Look how my skin looks and feels, but also that they actually can see the result of the any kind of imperfections as well too that are happening right there live in front of them.
Yes. That's how we make our money.
That's right. Instant gratification.
Yes. And Vince, can you tell us, do you use the products you create for us on yourself? And can you tell us your secret way?
When Chris gives them to me, I do. Yeah, but I do all the time actually. Every before you guys even see it, I have it in my room. My husband uses it, so we go back and forth. So before even Chris sees that, we actually use it in real life setting. So I always do that. So I always say I don't test on animals, I test on my husband. So I always do that instead. So he's always the guinea pig, and he gets to try everything. But I always use the products, and I still use them even now too. Yeah, and when I run out, I gotta make more.
Yeah. And Vince, tell us your secret shaving tip. I love this one.
This, guys, I love. So any of the men that are out there, but it can be for women too, and on your legs. So what I do is that both the berry boost and the charcoal one they have the same chassis, meaning that they're built with stearic acid. And stearic acid is a wonderful coconut-derived, emulsifier that we use for both these products. And stearic acid kind of lives in the shaving cream world as well too. And what I realized after I was using this product was I put it on just the way you guys use it in the room. I put it on the mask and I do the whole thing, but also I shave down with the berry boost, against the grain with the berry boost, and I leave it on for 10-15 minutes, and then I actually wash it off. I put the charcoal one on and I shave up in the opposite direction. And my skin not only feels like silk, it looks like silk, and what it actually helped do is it raises the hair follicle out of the skin. So you get a very, very clean, close shave. So you ladies can try it as well too. You can try it on your legs. The same thing. Just try to berry boost, but also leave it as a mask on your legs as well too. And you'll feel after you wash this stuff all off, your legs are gonna feel like silk. It's amazing. So I just found this out by dumb luck, and I'm not like doing it. It's my regimen every single couple of days. Because I shave. Chris is gonna laugh because I'm like, I think I'm Cleopatra. I actually have a big jacuzzi in my house, and I literally like do all my stuff, and Chris will tell you I'm not lying. I do everything in my jacuzzi. I shave, I wash my hair, I do my body, I do everything. I feel like I'm Cleopatra. I haven't actually been in a bathtub or a shower inside for like 4 years. Like I actually do it all outside. So I have like this whole like 45-minute experience that I do in the jacuzzi, where I leave this stuff on and I wash it off, and my skin and hair are amazing because of it. I put it on my hair too. I put it as a hair mask. So this thing I'm telling you is this is like an award-winning SKU, the charcoal and the berry bath. It's really, really amazing.
Some of you think he's kidding about going in his jacuzzi to bathe. When I got to his house this weekend, I said, why are there trays of products out by your pool? It's not sunscreen. And he told me that. And I was like, oh my gosh. Hey, at least there was Hale and Hush stuff out on his trays. I was happy. So
It's oral care, it's my mouthwash, it's like hair stuff. Which probably makes my guest not want to go hang on the jacuzzi with me, but we keep it pretty clean.
That's funny. Oh, I love it. Okay. So Melissa's in here and she's in charge of our body class. So maybe she's taking notes on that kind of stuff. And Vince, I want the ingredients also become kind of stale and over time. So what ingredients that were really popular and now they're just like outdated?
Oh, things like castor oil, the mineral oils, long gone. I mean, even, like I would say, like boring for me. It's like pomegranate oil's been overdone. Acai's been overdone. I think the pomegranate with the whole murad thing. Good old fashioned like boring surfactants, which are the materials that cause suds, in hair and what you call it, and facial products as well too. So palm oil, of course, we don't want to use that anymore. That's out of the mix. So a lot of these ones that have been around for a while were kind of like all kind of passe. I'm also a trends forecast writer for the beauty industry. So I do write trends 2 years in advance. We have a trade show called In Cosmetics, which happens once a year in a European city. And I'm on an organization. Me and 25 other people write the trends for the whole entire beauty industry around the world. So that's another thing that you guys are getting by default. is I'm able to tell all my clients, including Chris, while we're working with them, what's coming out in 2027. So that's what's also really cool. That's why I'm always kind of trying to bring new technologies to Hale and Hush before it's even people are even talking about it. And what I'll say, here, Chris, here's the data, here's what's coming out, here's the patents that are coming out on it, and what do you think about it? And she'll say yay or nay, but a lot of times we find something that's really going to work for this brand. So that's really cool too. That we're 2 years in advance with Hale and Hush ingredients, trying to get rid of the old stuff and bringing in the new stuff. So even me and Chris are also working on reformulating some of the older SKUs that you guys already have, that your performance and efficacy is the same. So you don't have to worry about having a new product that's not going to look and feel the same to your customer, but we're kind of rebuilding the attributes to it and what's kind of new, unique, and great, and what's kind of modern.
Awesome. I told you guys we were cool because
Yeah.
of Vince, and you didn't believe me, and now maybe somebody will believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more thing, and then you guys, I know I see questions in the box, so hold tight. We've answered all Vince's questions. Chris has decided that next month we're having a new launch of a product here. I don't know how much she wants to give away and how much she wants to talk about it, but it's Vince's specialty, and it's going to launch very shortly. Morgan has a secret one in her hand. Chris, do you want to tell them, or you want to keep them in suspense?
I will tell you, it is a new cleanser. People were asking for a cleanser out there, so it is a new Mandelic cleanser called Clarify Wash. I'll give you guys that. I'm not going to tell you why it's such a cool wash. Vince has added some things in it to it based on our talks and stuff to create a new cleanser that was different than the average Mandelic cleanser out there. That's why our Mandelic serum is a little different than everybody's. Everybody has an 8%, so do we, but ours is different and unique to work with sensitive skin. We've got some really cool ingredients in that new wash that you guys are going to love to help for your sensitive skin clients. So that's all I'm going to say. It'll be out mid-April is the game plan. So be watching for it.
Okay, you guys, and if you will all get your resumes ready, because I might get fired twice today. I took a photo. We're into, obviously you guys know that I test all the products. We're in testing for many products, more than you could ever imagine. So I took this photo to kind of sneak to Morgan and say, oh, we're meeting with Vince today. Look at all this stuff, right? I was so excited. So it's a really crappy photo. But just so you know, there's a lot of things down the chute. Do you see all the unlabeled bottles? Okay. By the way, that's on my windowsill, and that's the mountain behind me. Really crappy picture, but just so you know, this is where it starts. And then our guest here, this beautiful man I love, has written a book. He's done amazing things, you guys, more than he ever said in his intro. And he has given Chris some of these books. And so the giveaways today are going to include 2 charcoal retails, 2 berry retails, and 3 books that are randomly going to get sent with the masks. So I know you guys are super excited about that. Let's get to the questions really fast, and we're going to come back to the giveaways, okay? Because I don't want to skip out on you guys being able to ask Vince questions. Oh.
Well, and just one quick thing to add on the charcoal too.
Sure.
On the charcoal mask, when I mentioned the shaving, so the charcoal is amazing for ingrown. That's why I do the shaving twice. The second one, I go up against the grain with the charcoal one. So if you guys have any clients that are getting razor bumps or razor burns or ingrowns, the charcoal is like killer for that. So tell them to either start shaving with it or just putting the mask on. Again, it could be leg, pubic hair, arm hair, under the arms, the leg, whatever, any spot, sensitive spot. The charcoal is going to really get that astringent, like almost kind of like a micro silver. It's very anti-inflammatory and anti-astringent, and also helps ingrowns come out.
Yes. Melissa, take note. All right. Megan wants to. What, Vince? I'm sorry.
Just don't ask about bikini line. Yeah, bikini line as well too, for sure.
Definitely. Any future for body care products? Chris, you got to tell us how much you want us to maybe talk about. Megan.
We probably are working on some things, Vince and I, right now, but the early stages. So there are some things possibly coming down the line.
Danielle wants to know if will we ever do another remedy rehab with a different essential oil?
But a different versus the
Like
eucalyptus
I
fragrance.
believe she meant a different like scent instead of the eucalyptus sage.
I don't have anything in the target timeline for that, but as we grow, it could be something, but I think it's farther down the line.
Okay. I'm gonna skip that one for a minute. A coworker of mine told me that titanium dioxide was not a good ingredient. Can you tell me more and maybe the benefits? It's in the bio relief powder and why she would say that or why they would tell her that. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, I can answer that. The TII2 is on Prop 65, which is the prop in California. And what it is, they're probably talking about the micronized version of it. So TI2 is very, very safe. But on Prop 65, because there are nanoparticles that are in different particle sizes of it, so they put it on the prop, meaning that it's quote unquote not good to use. But there's many, many different versions of it that are totally, totally safe. So what you don't want to have is a TIO2, which is transdermal going down into the bloodstream. And that's probably what she's talking about. And the part that's so unfair to everybody on this call and for all you guys as estheticians and service givers is that all this Google is loaded with so much shit. You can have one thing that says one little thing that's wrong, and then everyone just gets legs and it goes in the wrong direction. So it's a lot of bad information is out there, and never be afraid to ask Chris or say, hey Chris, can you reach out to Vince or whatever? It's because a lot of times Chris is going to know the answer already anyway. But if not, they always can come to me. But there's a lot of ingredients like that, like parabens. We know we don't use parabens anymore, right? They're 20 years ago, but everybody on the team, there's nothing wrong with parabens. We've been using them for 75 years. They've been, they're in our food, they're in Pop-Tarts, they're in cereal, they're still to this day. But because a woman had found parabens in her breast milk 30 years ago in Switzerland, that one story got legs, and now parabens are horrible for you. I mean, we don't use them anymore. We haven't used them for 25 years. But doesn't mean they're actually necessarily bad, that there's great new technology out there now, but these old things are kind of going away. But you can't sell a product to anybody on the planet with a paraben in it. We wouldn't use that. I mean, that'd be crazy. But a lot of times it's just not real information. Again, the TI2 question is legit, and it's a legit question, but it would be for nanoparticles, not for regular TiO2.
Okay. There you guys go. This is a good one. How often do you revisit products that have already been made to reevaluate and possibly improve them? Or do we simply create new products?
I actually revisit them all the time. We legally, as an FDA and OTC facility, we have to keep stability for 3 years. So what we do to get you guys to market is one thing, which is so always 90-day stability has to happen to go to market. And where that works is the first 30 days is equal to 1 year shelf life. The second 30 is 2 year shelf life, and the third 30 is 3 year shelf life. That's where the 90 days equal to 3 years. But in real time, we also keep that's in the oven, the 45C, which is about 100 and roughly 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Then in real life, we keep them in real time for 3 years, real time. So we're always checking every single quarter for viscosity change, odor, pH, color shiftment, any kind of instability. And then if we see something on our end, Chris, Hale Hush does it. We do it on behalf of Hale Hush. So if I see that, we'll say, hey, Chris, blah, 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 separated, and we're going to go back and revisit the chassis too. So we watch this stuff all the time. So we're always revisiting and tweaking it. Again, it doesn't happen a lot, but if it does happen, we do see it and we adjust for it.
So I think, Vince, that I like how you explain that with our stability, because I'm always trying to tell people why it takes a long time for us to bring stuff to market. I think,
Right.
Shauna, were they asking more in that question about, do we ever look at other products to make products similar to those and update them?
I think it's reevaluating products like we're doing now, Chris. Like you're on a plan to have the products reevaluated now for ingredient decks to move on.
Which is what Vince is working on for me, which he hates me every other day for, because I'm looking, a lot of my formulations are 10 years old. You guys know this is our 10-year birthday. Some are actually older than that because they were part of my other brand that I owned before Hale and Hush. And I want to update them. I want to give them, so you still love that particular serum or wash or whatever, and you love it for certain reasons. So we're going to try to do our best to make it feel, look, and do all those things, but it's going to have so many more benefits, and it's going to have so many more cool ingredients in it. It's going to be totally updated and it's going to knock you guys off your feet, because we've got some really cool things coming out. So we're always trying to make stuff better.
That's the main challenge on my end. Like I said, because you have products that your customers are used to that are performing, great. So we want to update it, like Chris said, but also you don't want to lose that feel, or And one of the most challenging ones I'm working on by far is the blue. Which one is that, Chris? What is it
The
called?
Hush
The blue
Hydrate.
one.
The
It
Hush
helped
Hydrate.
that we know sells so well for you guys, and people love it. We don't want to, we want to make sure it's still what the customer wants and expects and going to be using, but we just want to improve on it. But everything can always be improved. But the chat, again, I use that word chat, the chassis of it, the way it's built, that's what's so important for your customers. Like, it's not easy to do because it's only like one compound that does that. So we got to we're trying to work around things like that. So that's what sometimes where the challenges come in. That you want to be unique, new, and exciting, but also you don't want to lose what your customers already love. And that's what that's what she said. That's what she holds the fire to my ass, saying, "This is great, but don't fuck around with it too much because we love it." So gotta keep it on the fence here.
You did good, Vince. 47 minutes.
I know that's my first F word in 47 minutes. I'm from New Jersey, guys.
Good.
I dressed like a sailor originally, so
I
sorry
told him
about
he
that.
had to watch his mouth.
That's right, but that's only one's pretty good.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Why do you have denatured alcohol in the toner when it isn't a drying ingredient? When it is a drying ingredient?
Yeah, Sean, you cut out there on. I didn't hear what you
Okay.
said.
Why do you have denatured alcohol in the toner when it is a drying ingredient?
Oh, because the alcohol actually is a solubilizer. So it's first of all, it's very, very, very low. It's like way below 1%. But the reason why we got to use it, you have a lot of essential oils in the toners. And as you guys know, just from good old fashioned science class, oil and water don't mix, right? So you have to have something like alcohol to actually solubilize the oil to hold it into the system. So again, it's very, very, very low. It's almost non-detectable. It's like way less than 1%. If you were to even test it, you probably wouldn't even see it there. But you had to have something to hold the oil together in a water system, and that's what that's for. It's not the oil to be kicking out all over the place.
Okay. And Leanne's asked a big one, Chris Campbell. So you again have to decide. Any more plans for additional moisturizers?
Well, I think I mentioned that there was a few products in stability testing right now. So there may or may not, wink, wink, be another moisturizer in there that also has some body benefits to it as well. Not a body moisturizer, but maybe neck and décolleté. But we've got some things in there, and Vince is working on a couple other things for us too. He's very close on another one that we're working on. We're almost down to probably the next sample he gives me is going to get approved.
We're just
But
making
it's still going to
Chris
be,
spill
I'm
all the
not going
beans.
to roll out everything at once. We're going to roll out things in time so that your clients can get used to if we update a formulation. Obviously, the new stuff that's totally from scratch, we can launch it as we get it. But the stuff that we're reformulating and updating those formulas, we want to slowly roll that out for people as we do that. So you'll see a lot of new things coming down the line. So just keep watching. But the newest one's launching next month. The other ones are probably late summer.
Thank God you guys are on this call. I would have said everything. I was like, you guys know everything. Maybe the three
Well,
of them.
Shauna puts me on the spot, so I got to say something. So
No, because I can get fired twice in one day. I cannot do the actual third firing of
We'll let Morgan and Chris and Shauna hang up, and then I'll tell the team everything else. I'm just kidding.
We'll just leave.
We'll have to force mute Vince. Just cut his mic.
Cut the mic like the Democratic debate. Just cut the mic.
We'll play you off like at the Oscars.
Start playing music.
Okay, we have a lot of different questions in here, so I'm going to run through the ones that Elizabeth, yes, berry boost can be used on intimate areas. Jarrett, yes, we could use both those masks pre-sugaring for a better result and post, and in our underarm protocol that we're updating. Okay, there's a whole bunch of things about Vince. Like, I think, Amanda, they covered it. Like, where does Vince live? How did he meet Chris? Why did they decide to work together? There's all those funny in here. I don't know if you want to answer those or not.
I'll answer anything. I don't care. No, I live in Southern California right now. I live about an hour south of LA, and right out pretty much Laguna Beach, but it's actually San Juan Capistrano, but it's Laguna Beach area of LA, of Orange County, I should say. And my lab is about 5 minutes south there in Capistrano Beach. And then I have my partner at Velocity, where Chris makes the product that in Arizona, where I go and do all your scaling up for you. So that's the other thing that's kind of unusual too, that it's actually unheard of, is that the chemist, being me, who makes the product in the lab, go to Arizona and actually then scaled it up in mass production. So what's really important about that is whatever Chris approves in that formulation, again, the trade name, where it's coming from, what we're doing, I make sure that it's not only there in the product, but it's scaled up the proper way. So I'm doing the process engineering and the compounding as well too. So we take it from the small lab batch in the lab that Chris and Sean are evaluating, and once they approve it, and we go into mass production, then I'm also out there scaling up for you guys as well too, in the 300 gallon tank. So you always have me kind of overseeing the live batches and also the small batches, so you have that consistency. But for that reason, I stay in California, because I can stay in California, so I can charge California prices. And then Arizona, I wouldn't be able to do that. So then I go out to in Arizona for the manufacturing part.
That's funny. Another one, Chris. What about a hyaluronic acid serum? Is there one coming our way? Maybe.
There might be. I think Vince is working on a very special one for me. We are very close, aren't we, Vince? Well, I think we're pretty close. So, I mean, that could be later this year if we get the next sample and it's totally accurate. So it's really close.
Yeah, I think I realized I have a trigger on this Zoom call. Every time you ask that question, like this question, I start taking a drink like this. I just realized I'm being triggered. I have to take a drink so I keep my mouth shut.
So that's one of the products, guys, that we talk about. We want to update. We do have a hyaluronic serum right now. That Soothe Essence is our hyaluronic calming serum, but the one we're working on is going to be amazing, and it is jam-packed and updated. So it will be really great. So just keep waiting for it. We're really close on doing the final on it, so that it can go to stability test and go into manufacturing.
You guys are getting a Ferrari SKU that's coming with hyaluronic. So and I'm not kidding. Like, Chris held no punches with this one, and this is one of the ones we fought about. Crazy expensive to put together, and you guys are gonna really. It's for a reason, and you're gonna appreciate why it's so elaborate.
Shauna, I'm gonna miss working with you. You're fired.
Okay. She had to lay some people off for this serum, but besides that, we'd be okay.
I didn't tell everybody what the pricing is yet, so no, it's not going to be outrageous. That's my one thing with Vince. I got to stay in the price point range. We haven't had any, price increases, guys. I mean, there could be one later this year. I don't know. I mean, with the tariffs and everything going on, but I try to keep our price points really affordable for your clients. I do my very best when I could be out there charging what some of these other brands do. So I try to keep it affordable.
Okay, we have a lot of specific questions about skin conditions and what to use on skin. I'm going to skip those for right now. I'm going to ask Vince one more, and then we're going to do the giveaway. We can come back.
And maybe we can do another call with Vince later on in a couple months or something. He'll come out and do something like that for us.
But this
I love those. Don't worry at all.
Okay, this is a good one because this happens in our industry a lot, and not just with clients, but with other estheticians. You guys see arguments and little things on Facebook about people going back and forth arguing about what's good, what's bad. I know Face Reality has an entire list about what's bad for acneic skin, and some of them are questionable on the list. But otherwise, they're just making general statements so that their clients can treat their clients, right? So I respect that, and everyone has their own play. But Marianne asked, how do you suggest talking with clients, and I'm extending this to other estheticians, that are worried about certain ingredients? Like someone just asked about alcohol. Someone just online, a lot of times they're like, well, that has alcohol, period, and I'm not using it, right? So how do you talk to clients that are doing their own Google research about which these ingredients aren't good? They come at us all the time, Vince. So to me, I always say formulations matter and how it's created. So how would you answer that?
Yeah, and you're right. It is a tough one because it's so fast, right? And you can have 10 different clients in one day. They're all saying 10 different things, 10 different skin types. That's kind of the main thing. But your world and your space is sensitive skin. So I always would start with that and saying, I know you're reading this and that, but we would not have these ingredients, period, in these formulations if they were not okay, safe, efficacious, and and there for a reason. So there are always kind of derivatives, of all different kinds of things that are not good for anybody. It just depends on what they're allergic to, what they have. Again, allergies. Again, if you're acneic skin, sometimes the charcoal mask is a little bit better than the berry boost because the charcoal, it actually is an anti-astringent. So you have to kind of also know, and educate yourself on the actual specific SKUs of Hale and Hush, that some may actually be better for other customers than others, not based on ingredients, but just based on the way they perform and what you actually do. If you have if someone that's coming in with crazy oily skin, then you wouldn't necessarily use a lot of the Soothe Essence, right? Because it's very, very moisturizing and very rich with the HAs, et cetera. You might want to use more of like you mentioned, the one with the alcohol. That'd be phenomenally used for someone that's very oily because it cuts that alcohol, it cuts that oiliness out of the skin. So you have to really kind of just know what they're doing. And unfortunately, everybody is searching on research, and probably everybody in this room is, we all do it. We all search on Google and everything. But there's just so much falsities that are out there. Again, and it's not your job to notice. I mean, even as a scientist, I have to educate myself on a weekly basis. I'm saying weekly, to make sure we know what's going on, what people are saying, what they're not saying, what's being trend driven, what's not, what has the problem now for some reason. But it's so hard to answer that question because it really is specific to every single person and what they're finding about and what their skin type is. But at a very, very high level, you can say, that we, again, green, clean, sustainable, blah, blah, blah. But I go back to say, if you're a high prone allergy person, all natural is not good for you either. So it just depends on what they're actually, looking for. But at the end of the day, there's nothing in this collection that's going to make anybody look worse or feel worse or make them break out. If they happen to have if they come in and they don't happen to know that they're allergic to, I don't know, violets, right? And we have violet oil, in the berry boost, and it's like, duh, that's your fault, dumbass. So it's like, what else you gonna it's like, and I know you guys appreciate this because you get these questions all the time, and it's like, oh my God, why don't you crack a book, But it's like, it's hard.
I think Vince too, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of those ingredients that they think are bad, maybe they're in there for functionality. The purpose that they're in there might not be what they think it's in there for. It might be they're in to carry ingredients further down through the dermis. It might be they're in there to help preserve, might be part of the preservative system or, the filler system. But unless you know what that ingredient's actually in there for, if you see salicylic in some things, not ours, but other people's lines, sometimes the salicylic's in there to make other ingredients work better. So, you have to look at, ask the question. And if I don't know the answer and you guys ask me, I'm going to go back to Vince and ask him, why is that particular ingredient there? Oh, it's because it's a filler, or it's making it, it's part of this particular preservative system we're using, or, people don't realize matrixol or things like that. It's not just an ingredient, it's a series of ingredients that make that component matrixol, that peptide. And you have to know what the inky is. When we'll talk about that on my ingredient class coming up, like how to break down those and why that ingredient's part of that.
Awesome. Okay, let's do the giveaways, and there's a few more questions we can get back to if Vince has time.
I'm totally fine. I'm good.
Because we are taking lots of his time. Okay, Morgan, get that spinner out, girl. She uses a spinner, Vince. It's so fun and exciting for the rest of us.
You have to let me share.
I am.
This is like Vegas. I love this.
It is kind of.
They're winning the gift of narcissism, the gift of me. I love it.
Okay,
All right, this is for a charcoal clarifying.
You can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it. We just can't hear it.
You better be able to hear it.
I don't see Vince's name in there, and he's always mooching product when we make batches. He always seems to come to town, and there's a bucket or two missing of things.
All right, who's got a charcoal?
Pauline.
You in the chat, Pauline. You got to answer in the chat and tell us you're there. Pauline, get to your chat.
I can't see, so you got to let me know.
Nothing yet.
I said Pauline's dead to us.
Pauline.
Is it going to Vince?
20 more seconds. We're going to pull someone else. Okay, go on. Pick another person.
All right.
Oh, that's Karen. I don't know, Karen. I have no idea if Morgan got you. Okay, Pauline's out. Next. Elizabeth's in here. Elizabeth, get in that chat. Are you in there? Yay, she is. Okay, you guys remember you have to email me at education@haleandhush.com with your address, and I'll get it sent to you.
I have the books with me on my trip in New York, so I get back in the office next Thursday. So the books will be going out next Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, so second charcoal, yeah?
Yeah.
Cynthia.
Yeah, are you in there? Yeah. Okay, let's do a berry boost retail. The big fave.
Emily. Emily, didn't you say it's your first time in here?
Emily, are you still in? Go to the chat, Emily. There you are.
She's
Okay,
there.
yes. Then, and the last one for the berry boost.
I think Emily said it was her first time in here. That's awesome. Megan Hand.
Megan Hand, I'm right by you today. Close anyway to you. Okay, awesome, you guys. Let's go back. Emily, happy birthday. Let's go back to all right, I don't want to. Okay, here's a good one too. This is a good one for you, Vince. Do you have any suggestions for perfumes that are more natural and more toxic free that maybe are not in all the big box stores?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a very interesting answer, but if you happen to be like want a really clean perfume, over the last, like, I would say only about 18 months probably, us in the perfumery world, we just figured out how to actually solubilize fragrances now in water, which is pretty much impossible. I mentioned to you guys earlier about the solubility issue. So we're using kind of these surfactant systems to actually solubilize the water, and where it's actually exploding at is in the pet market. So because we're not able to safely spray our pets with with fine fragrances and make them smell pretty for the last 100 years, but now we actually can. So I know it's kind of sounds funny, but there's a new Dolce & Gabbana fragrance out for pets called Fifi, Fefe, and I actually bought it for myself. It's solubilized in water, and it's amazing, and you probably would love it. It's very it's nothing in it but water. It's water and essential oils, and it's very clean, especially if you have allergies or you just want something that's for really sensitive skin. So you can see a lot of new fragrances coming out for pets, because now we can safely deliver them to pets, which is something new. So, but we're making them in the sense that I'm actually working at it today in Chicago. So it's all public, so I'll tell you, it's actually out in the press. But I had the IP with the great Judy Garland, from Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. So I've been working with her family for 3 years, and now for Wicked Part 2 coming out in the fall, I had the IP for Toto as well too. So I'm doing a dog fragrance called Toto, which is coming out in the fall. To be collaborating with Wicked. So today we're working on these fragrances that are all solubilized in water, safe for pets, but phenomenal for humans as well too. The one we just made up today, I would wear them all day long on myself. So don't be afraid to go look in the pet store for your new fragrance.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will be sprinting to get that.
Yeah.
Here's a question. What are the best ingredients to combat glycation?
So glycation?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, so again, anything in the soothing family as well too. So Chris and myself, love using all the licorice stuff. We have licorice extract, that's one of the best for that. Also Hesperidin, and I don't know if we have Hesperidin in any of the Hale & Hush. Do we have Hesperidin, Chris, in something?
I think we do in one of the new samples of something. I don't remember which one because I'm lost on all the samples and decks we're looking at, but I think it is in one of them.
Yeah, but anything in the anti-inflammatory, category, again, specifically with Hale & Hush, any of the licorice root stuff is amazing for that.
Awesome. Okay, and everybody wants a sunscreen that's tinted. That's all the comments I keep getting in here. Tinted. Okay, and Daniel wants to know, have you seen retinol oils? And what do you think about the retinol oils?
Yeah, same thing. So retinol oil, real retinol actually is oil soluble anyway. So doing a retinol oil is actually pretty easy to do. But it makes you very photosensitive to the sun. So it's good for some things, but not good for others. Again, depending on your client. Straight up retinol, if I think for the Hale & Hush customer, it's probably not the best the best thing. We have new stuff we're working on too that's gonna, address that. But it's a very, very, very strong material. Again, as an oily skin person, I'll drink retinol. It's amazing for me. But I'm not sensitive, and also my skin is an oil plant. I'm 100% Italian, triple Scorpio from the Jersey Shore. Doesn't get any worse than that. So I'm like, so I love retinol for me, but again, I happen to be an acne type person and I'm very oily, so I like it. But again, for sensitive skin, not really. But the retinol oil is nice because it's almost pure, but it also is very, very, very strong. So it just depends on the customer and who you're using it on.
Good. And Karen wants to know what is good to put on a man's beard for a facial for moisturizing. Remedy Rehab.
Right, yeah, I'm gonna say Remedy Rehab for sure. That's also amazing for excuse me, I appreciate with it. What I do is I use the refined polish that I scrub my face with. I always to try and raise the hair follicle up. Then I put the Remedy oil on, and that's what I leave it on for about 3 minutes ish. And I put the berry boost right on top of that, and I leave it on for 10 minutes. But while I'm leaving the berry boost on, again I shave down to get it started. Then I do the charcoal, and again I'm kind of overkilling it a bit. I mean, we just call it what it is, but I'm doing the charcoal too on the way up. Then that really I am a person that gets ingrowns pretty easily, and since I've done this Hale Hush fictitious shaving regimen that I created, I don't get any ingrown. You guys can see my skin is gorgeous. I'm just kidding. No, it's pretty good. I also am a narcissist, as Chris hasn't told you, but yeah. So just so you guys probably haven't figured it out by now. So my skin's been at the best it's ever been in a long, long time. And I really, because think about it. Men, we shave 3 or 4 times every 3 or 4 times every day. So actually, men's skin is way worse than normally for women. So we actually call it micro tears in the skin by shaving all the time. You want to replenish that. So that's one of the things too that I always talk about is that men should not be skipping skincare at all. It should be actually the opposite.
Right. They're just commenting on your glowing skin and your handsomeness in the chat.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Look at it.
I've had 85 plastic. You probably could throw darts in my face. I have so much plastic surgery done, but it's okay. At least it looks real.
He's very big about skincare. I joked about what's out at the pool. I went and used his bathroom in his office. I've never seen so much product of every hair, body, skin, everything in my entire life. I was like, I couldn't even barely get into the sink to wash my hands.
That's right.
Okay. There are other questions that are like very specific, like what products to use of Hale and Hush. So I'm gonna, if you guys really want me to answer those questions, please email me and I'll do that. I don't want to waste Vince's effort here. And is that
No, I'm loving it. I'll stay on all day. I'm just
okay.
no rush.
Carolyn asked if we do not have a recycling program for our bottles, Carolyn, as of this time. So just like I live in Washington State and I recycle plastic anyway, so I just put them in there to recycle through the state. Any updates to rare retinol coming, Chris?
There are, and Vince almost opened his mouth. I saw that he shut his mouth when he was talking about forms of retinol. But yes, we are working on something. So I did catch him. He almost came out of his mouth. I was waiting for him to say the word that he wasn't supposed to say, and he didn't say it. So he's not fired yet.
That's it. I'm not. I'm
So
close.
there is everything is getting. I really want to update a lot of these things because we need to update them. There's so many new cool ingredients out there and new things that we could be using, but still, offering the same type of chassis that, as Vince uses that term, that we had before, but then giving you some extra benefits. And on top of those new things, or the updated products, we've got new things coming out to enhance the line. So more things to give you guys more opportunities to do more things in your facials.
I'm going to chime in with an annoying marketing girl comment. Just keep an eye on our socials because we will keep you updated on this. When we teased about the masks or Remedy Rehab, something got slipped early and we were getting hounded with DMs and questions about when it was coming. I promise you, we will keep you posted on when all of this is rolling out. You guys will be the first to know, especially if you're in the Facebook group. So a lot of this is early stages in the works. I promise we will post about it when all of this is happening. Please don't send me 50,000 DMs about it because I will panic and call Chris.
Okay, Vince, what products routine? Okay, this is about products. Do you recommend about stubborn hyperpigmentation due to sun exposure? They've asked twice because I skipped it the first time.
I heard, you cut off for 1 second. Shall I say it one more time, Daryl?
They want to know what ingredients or products that you would for stubborn, like sunspots, aging spots, pigmentation. Like, what do you think is the best to do?
In a natural world, kojic acid is really, really good. Any kind of product with that in it. Hydroquinone, we stopped using many years ago. I mean, it does work, but it's again, it's very, very, very strong. So it's kind of like coming out of the marketplace now as well too. Again, and also the licorice. The licorice, once again, that's the same thing. The licorice really helps with age spots, sunspots, discoloration, hyperpigmentation. But in a natural setting, kojic acid probably would be the best. Also azelaic acid, which is AZELIC, azelaic acid. We have that, I know, Chris, in the toner, right? We have which toner do we have all the acids in? That's the mint, I don't remember the name of it, but we have that's a great one for pigmentation.
Oh, it's not a toner, but he's saying stuff he shouldn't say. But we are working on a product for pigmentation, but it's not a toner.
Isn't it already on the market? No.
Take a drink.
Take a drink. All right. Maybe azelaic acid is good then. I don't know. No, it's good.
Really good.
Yeah, he's just forgetting because we're working on so many samples. It's not a toner, but it's a product that we're working on for pigmentation. We're a couple rounds in on it, but it's
That would be the best one when you get it. That would be the best one when you guys get it. That's the one.
But
Yeah.
it's taking us longer to test it because we're having to really test it to make sure that it works for the conditions. It works for sensitive skin, but it also works on the pigmentation. So it's a fine line of what most people look for. Everybody wants this instant result. Well, we can't always use instant result ingredients on a sensitive skin.
Yeah,
So we've got to do a lot more testing. There's a lot more go arounds that probably frustrate Vince more than any client because a lot of them, the first thing he creates is it's great, but maybe we have to make sure it works on sensitive skin because that is our market, that is our clientele.
Yeah, and by
And
the way,
not cause a reaction.
right, and add on what Chris is saying, that is the one space you can't get the really instant gratification from. You still can feel amazing, but as far as age spots, sunspots, discoloration, that's going to have to be 4 or 6 week, 8 period of time thing, and that's why this is taking so long. But you're going to have it, like we already know it's happening because we both fucked up, but so it's happening. But it's amazing. We have to make sure the efficacy is there, and just finding the balance.
Kim, yes, the Airtable is still going on. Can you please email marketing? Because I just looked. I do not have an email from you. Can you do that, please? marketing@haleandhush.com, and I'll get it to you today, Kim.
I can actually put the link in the chat for her to sign up and it'll send it to her right away.
If you can do that, thank you. Amanda wants to know your thoughts, Vince, on sunscreens that are mineralized powders versus something like ours. Like that's a, liquid.
Yeah. Well, the mineralized powder, again, they're great, but what you got to do with the mineralized powder, they have to be very, very put on uniformly, right? So you get sometimes the powders, if you don't put it on really uniformly, you could be missing a spot of your skin. So I personally like them, but you have to just make sure you get it all on, blah, blah. They're not necessarily either waterproof or sweat proof. They kind of flash off pretty quickly. So if you're happen to be a sweater, or you're just out in the, if you're going into the water type thing, you're gonna have to reapply it right away. So I think I like it a lot for babies because the baby surface is really, really small. Obviously, and you can kind of get it all over them, and it's great for their skin as well too. So I like it in the baby world more than I do for adults, to be honest with you. But it's not necessarily great coverage, because you have to make sure you just get it all over the place.
I think something else with the powders too, it's depending on what your skin condition is. If you're super dry and you're not applying a moisturizer, that powder is going to sit off there and fly out right off unless you're setting a base for it to stick to. So, you have to make sure you're hydrating your skin so that there's a base for the powder to stick to. Because if you're really dry, that powder is just going to fly off.
Yeah. Okay, I think we did it. There is another question about K beauty products, Vince, but I think we're going to not answer that, Kelly. I'm sorry. And then we do have someone in here. Danielle will be your human tester if you ever need anyone.
We do.
Okay.
For sure.
So she is immune compromised and she is a cancer survivor. So
I know which Danielle that is. That's my best friend.
yes, and she is
my best friend that lives in California. Yep.
And she would like to be a guinea pig anytime you need her. Don't worry, Danielle.
Okay,
We would have signed you up anyway. Okay, Eden wants to know about Vince's book. Do you want me to go back to this slide? You want to hold it up, Chris?
Can you see it?
No, back up maybe. No, put it in front of your face. I don't know what to do. Morgan?
I don't know. It's hard. I'm in a hotel room in New York and I don't have a good.
It's because her background blur is on. It's gonna blur anything but a face.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got it. Look at this right here.
Yeah, you don't need to see my messy
you
sheets in
go,
my hotel
Eden.
room.
Look at that. Guys gonna order it up right now?
And I wanna brag a little bit. Vince, can you
Okay.
tell these guys a few of the brands that I know or products that you created that they would know in the industry?
Like,
Oh, just that one. Can you tell them the one I love, or is that not legal?
Yeah, what's the one that I discovered at a hotel? I was sitting there with you for dinner and I said, "Oh my God," I called Sean on the phone.
oh,
It's some type of
well, I've done a lot of work for Dermalogica. It's a pretty probably with the Dermalogica, the powder cleanser, right?
yep, that microfoliant. That was Vince.
I did that one. I've done SKUs for Yanka in your space, you know, in the esthetician space, Yanka, Sotees, Ganoi,
Hydrofacial. You created the first formulas for hydrofacial.
all the hydrofacial stuff for Edge, which is called Edge, right? So and also that's a very hard project. We had to make it all usable for the machine. A lot for Ida Tibion back in the late 90s and early 2000s, which is Victoria Principal and Ida Tibion stuff, which I did a lot for her. So a lot actually in the spa space. Yeah, Peter Thomas Ross. Also, I've done 4 or 5 SKUs for them.
All right, awesome.
Now he can say he can brag to everyone that he's done stuff for Hale and Hush. So
That's right, and I do.
Okay, Vince, we have taken a lot of your time today. I know you're trying to do big and better things in Chicago.
Just for
So-
dogs. Just for dogs.
Just for dogs. Just
I,
like Kiki
I
said.
support that. If you need a doggy tester, I'm your girl.
Taking 1 week break away from humans this week and working on dogs.
That's fun. That's fun though. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Vince, we can't thank you enough. This, I'm telling you, highlight of the year here. And to look at Chris is even nerdly excited. This is her thing. You guys talking to Vince is her highlight of her life. She loves it. I hope you guys learned a lot. I know we could talk to him forever and ever. But I hope that you guys, what we want you to know and walk away with is we're always trying to make you the best products. We have the best man doing the job using the best ingredients and always, Chris, always out for your bottom line. So like I said, you guys, you can't ask for anything more in a company than honesty, integrity, and education. And so that's why we do these things and we bring this stuff to you. So I hope you realize that we are here for you and your passion or our passion is your success, right?
Yeah,
So-
and we'll always try to, if you have the question, just send them off to the team and if Chris doesn't know the answer, most of the time she does, she'll get it to me and we'll get sure we get them answered for you. You know, you're gonna get a lot of those questions in the room from consumers that just, you know, are just trying to educate themselves. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask with any questions for sure.
Absolutely.
Cause I love
So-
talking, everybody can tell, so no worry there.
all of us can talk. It's good. Okay, thank you guys so much, Chris. Have fun in New York. Vince, you get those little poochies smelling good.
I will.
Morgan, thank you always for the spinner, and thank you to all of our clients. We love you guys. Talk to you later.
thank you.
Thanks for all your time.
Thanks.